Have you ever had one of those mornings where the alarm goes off and it feels like a 100-kilogram weight is crushing you? Your mind is awake, but your body says, no chance I'm moving. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you just don't feel like it. But somehow you drag yourself out of bed anyway. Listen, this isn't just laziness. It's friction. I call it limbic friction, a silent war between you and the oldest part of your brain. And when you force yourself to get up, you're using a rare kind of power, top-down control. That means you, the commander, are overriding your body and crushing that resistance. Now the internet is full of advice like, do it with love or do it with anger. But here's the truth. It doesn't matter. Whether your fuel is love, anger, pride, or pressure, the goal is the same. Activate control. If you're heading to the airport to see someone you love, love drives you. If you gave your word and you refuse to break it, honor drives you. Even just do it is built on this exact principle. And here's what most people miss. This system isn't just for doing things, it's also for not doing them. When you resist junk food, when you say no to temptation, that's the same system at work. Now here's the key. The better you rest, the easier this control becomes. Look at someone like David Goggins. If you don't know him, just understand this. He's called the toughest man alive. He was once overweight, depressed, and stuck. Then one day he made a decision. He would stop negotiating with his mind. He lost 45 kilos, finished the most brutal military training on the planet, became an ultra-marathon champion. Goggins is living proof of someone who smashed limbic friction and discovered a brutal truth. When your body says, I'm done, you've probably only used about 40% of your capacity. Now let me tell you something powerful, something science only recently confirmed. For years, scientists searched for where willpower lives in the brain. They finally found it, a region called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Studies show that people who stay sharp and strong, even in old age, have an unusually large version of this area. But here's the uncomfortable part. This part of the brain shrinks with age and with comfort. So how do you grow it? Sudoku? Not really. Doing what you love? Not necessarily. There's only one reliable way to physically expand it. Do what you don't feel like doing, exactly when you don't feel like doing it. Pay attention to this. If you love running and you go for a run, this part doesn't grow much because your brain is flooded with pleasure dopamine. Growth only happens when it's raining, your body hurts, you're tired, you don't feel like it, and you do it anyway. Every time you override that, I don't feel like it, you are literally reshaping your brain. So the next time you wake up and force yourself out of bed, don't think, I'm just waking up. You're training your brain for survival, for battle. This is the muscle that keeps you standing when everything else collapses. And the thing that turned Goggins into who he is, his ability to dominate that internal resistance. He learned how to talk to himself, how to convince himself, I have to do this. When it's raining and he has to run, he doesn't lie to himself and say, what a beautiful day. He says, I hate this. I'm cold. I don't want to do it. And that's exactly why I'm doing it. To prove who's in charge. That's the mindset. So next time you're on a diet and staring at pizza, don't run away from it. Look at it and say, you look amazing, but I'm stronger. That's the real reward, not pleasure, but power. Goggins understands something most people don't. On the other side of pain, there's a victory waiting. This is a war strategy, because when you know there's a win behind the resistance, your brain starts releasing dopamine before you even get there. You're stealing reward from the future and bringing it into the present. New research confirms this. When you believe the struggle is worth it, dopamine is released earlier. So delaying gratification isn't just suffering. It can actually feel good if you're clear on what's waiting at the end. That's the difference. Goggins doesn't enjoy the pain, but he sees the reward with absolute clarity. Most people can't. That's why they stay in bed. And make no mistake, this limbic friction is real. It's a loud voice inside you screaming, "Stay in bed, sleep matters." And it's not wrong. From an evolutionary perspective, conserving energy was survival. Our ancestors didn't waste energy hunting if food was already available. Laziness was once a survival mechanism. But progress belongs to those who push past it, the ones who challenge that inner voice. Because overriding that resistance is a skill, just like a muscle. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. The more you force focus, the stronger your focus becomes. The more you practice relaxation, the better your recovery becomes. Now, when it comes to overcoming this friction, you have two paths: chemical or psychological. Most people go chemical: caffeine, nicotine, stimulants, trying to hack the system. But the psychological path, that's where real power is built. I call it the grab yourself by the collar method. Like a cat carrying its kitten by the neck, your mind grabs your body and throws it into action. It might sound strange, but it works. And interestingly, it's similar to something in psychology: third-person self-talk. Normally, when people refer to themselves in the third person, it can signal ego or narcissism. But here, we use it as a tool. You create distance from your emotions so they don't control you. For example, this morning I planned to take a cold shower. It was cold outside, foggy, miserable. Inside I was thinking, this is going to be awful. I hate cold water. But I did it anyway. And guess what? That cold water woke me up and became the best part of my morning. That tiny victory over resistance changed my entire day. So next time you feel like avoiding something, call yourself by your name. Say, enough, get up, get to work. That separation weakens fear, fatigue, and hesitation. Now that you've hacked your mind, let's talk about your body. Here's something most people ignore: the connection between your eyes and your focus. Your eyes aren't just cameras. They're extensions of your brain. If you can't focus, the problem isn't always your mind. Sometimes it's your vision. Your nervous system has two modes: wide-angle vision and narrow laser focus. If you're stressed or need to relax, go outside and look at the horizon. Expand your vision. It instantly calms your system. But for deep work, you need the opposite: tunnel vision. Here's a simple but powerful technique. Before you start working, stare at a single point on a wall or screen for 30 seconds. Blink less, lock in. This sends a signal to your brainstem and triggers norepinephrine release. Your body thinks it's about to hunt and sharpens your focus instantly. Even your environment matters. High ceilings boost creativity. But for precision work, math, coding, detail-heavy tasks, go somewhere with a lower ceiling, or even wear a cap. It sounds strange, but limiting your upward field of vision locks your attention forward. Engineer your environment so you don't have to rely only on willpower, because willpower alone gets exhausting. And for people breaking addictions, this is a moment-to-moment battle. Now here's a strategic question: should you reward yourself after every small win? This is where you need to think like a strategist. If you reward yourself every time, your brain adapts and the dopamine fades. Casino owners understand this perfectly. What makes gambling addictive? Unpredictable rewards. So if you're working on something hard, Sometimes reward yourself. Sometimes don't. Confuse the system. One time after 45 minutes of work, go get that great coffee. Next time, skip it. Keep going. This keeps your brain hungry, engaged, chasing, just like old video games, collecting coins for an extra life. Uncertainty keeps motivation alive. Same with the gym. If you always reward yourself with something enjoyable after, skip it once in a while. When the reward finally comes back, the dopamine hit becomes stronger. Treat your brain like a powerful ruler treats soldiers. Don't reward them every time. Keep them sharp. One more critical principle. Don't stack dopamine. You have one dopamine system, but many triggers. If you combine everything, music, caffeine, supplements, perfect weather, you're playing all your cards at once. Next time, if even one of those is missing, your performance drops. That's the problem today, especially with overstimulation, like extreme adult content. Easy, unlimited access to intense stimulation has damaged many people's dopamine systems. Real life no longer feels exciting. Worse, some experts warn that people are wiring their brains to be satisfied by watching instead of doing. They become spectators in their own lives, not players. It's like eating so much junk food that plain rice tastes like nothing. One of the best decisions I ever made to reset my brain? Something called a dopamine fast. It sounds extreme, but it's simple. 1 day a week, cut all artificial pleasure. No movies, no video games, no junk food. Why? To let your brain reset. That boredom you feel? It's not a problem. It's the reset button. It brings back your ability to enjoy simple things and clear something called brain fog. Now, what is brain fog? Imagine your mind as a windshield. When it's clean, you see everything clearly. Brain fog is when that glass is dirty and fogged up. You're awake, but it feels like you're looking at the world through a haze. Words come slowly. Focus feels heavy, like running underwater. Sometimes it's poor sleep. Sometimes it's low oxygen. Sometimes it's just boredom. Have you ever noticed? You sit in a boring meeting or class, you feel sleepy instantly, but the moment it ends, you're wide awake. That's the key. From ADHD research, we've learned something important. The problem isn't always focus, it's interest. When something truly interests you, you focus like a laser. But let's be honest, life isn't made of only things you love. Sometimes you have to do what you hate. When I used to face a project or subject I didn't like, I never lied to myself and said, "This is fun." I did the opposite. I used controlled anger as a strategy. I'd tell myself, "I hate this, but I'm going to break it. I'm going to bring this challenge to its knees." That kind of focused aggression releases adrenaline. It wakes you up, locks you in. And here's the interesting part. Once I finished the task successfully, I actually started to like it because I had won. So don't sit around waiting to find your passion. Sometimes you have to enter through the back door and build passion through battle. But even if you're a strong fighter, there's a silent killer that can take you down. Social media. When you scroll aimlessly, without even knowing what you're looking for, it means your dopamine tank is empty and you're running on fumes. Your brain was not designed for this level of rapid switching. In 5 minutes, you consume 100 different realities. Laughter, tragedy, war, dancing. It burns your brain out. I'm not saying this because I'm special. I'm saying it because I felt it myself. It got to the point where my phone made me feel sick. So at night, I turn it off. The phone isn't the problem. Our usage is. We treat it like overeating. I see scrolling as gambling with time. Every swipe is a bet on your nervous system. Here's a simple trick that worked for me. I removed social media apps from my home screen and buried them deep inside folders. Now I have to think before opening them instead of tapping them automatically. Now that we've stopped the energy leaks, let's talk about fuel. The world's favorite drug, caffeine. 90% of people consume caffeine daily, but most don't use it to become sharp. They use it just to feel normal. Caffeine blocks adenosine, the chemical that makes you sleepy. But when caffeine wears off, all that built-up adenosine hits you at once, and you crash. If you want caffeine to actually work for you, follow 2 rules. Rule 1, don't drink coffee for the first 90 minutes after waking up. Let your body wake up naturally. Rule 2, if coffee stops working, don't quit suddenly. Reset it smartly. Cut your intake in half for 3 to 4 days. Then take 1 to 2 days off completely. Then restart. That's how you reset your system. Now let's talk about your main fuel, glucose. Ever notice how around 2 p.m. your brain just shuts down? That's a blood sugar crash, and 99% of people cause it themselves. They eat high amounts of simple carbs, white bread, rice, sugar, for breakfast or lunch. Blood sugar spikes like a rocket, then insulin crashes it down. Result? Brain fog, sleepiness, zero focus. If you want your brain running like a jet engine all day, you need to eat strategically. Until your mental work is done, keep carbs low, focus on protein and healthy fats, like nuts or olive oil. Save the rice, pasta, and carbs for dinner. Why? Because carbs help produce serotonin, which helps you relax and sleep better. So the rule is simple. Protein and fats for daytime performance. Carbs for nighttime recovery. Now that your energy is stable, let's talk about learning. Learning is not just reading or watching videos. That's only marking the material. Real learning, real rewiring, happens during deep rest. There's a powerful technique called gap learning. Research shows that if, during learning, you pause for just 10 seconds, doing absolutely nothing, your learning speed can increase dramatically. In those silent seconds, your brain is replaying and strengthening the information at high speed. Try it right now. Put your phone down. Stare at a point. Do nothing for 10 seconds. That silence, it's powerful. But sometimes you're so exhausted that your brain won't absorb anything. Let's say you slept badly. You have a long day ahead. Caffeine isn't helping anymore. What do? Napping can be risky. You might fall into deep sleep and wake up even more groggy. That's called sleep inertia. Instead, there's a secret weapon used by the military. Non-sleep deep rest, NSDR. It's simple. A 10 to 20-minute audio session where you're not fully asleep, but not fully awake either. You relax your body, control your breathing. Research shows that 20 minutes of NSDR can restore your dopamine system like several hours of quality sleep. It boosts brain plasticity dramatically. So next time your brain locks up midday, don't scroll, don't drink your 4th coffee, put on headphones, do 20 minutes of deep rest. It's like pulling your car into a Formula One pit stop, refueling, changing tires, then jumping back into the race at full speed. But here's the truth. All these techniques, dopamine fasting, gap learning, collapse without one foundation: sleep. Sleep expert Matthew Walker said it best. Saying I'll sleep when I'm dead is the most foolish thing you can say. And the secret to good sleep? It's not pills, it's sunlight. As soon as you wake up, get sunlight into your eyes. It starts your brain's internal timer. So about 16 hours later, your body naturally releases sleep hormones. Morning light, dark nights. That's the system. Personally, 2 hours before bed, I dim my phone and turn on a red light filter. So my brain understands it's night. In the end, life is a balance, like a scale. On one side, effort, discipline, controlled aggression. On the other, rest, recovery, deep reset. The art of life isn't constant war. It's knowing when to attack and when to retreat. People who only push hard might succeed, but they burn out. You're here to do both. Win and stay strong. That voice in your head right now, it's already telling you to skip this. Ignore it. Drop a comment. What's your 100-kilo weight? What are you avoiding? Face it. Right now, stay sharp.